Hello, everybody. My name is Todd Wall. Welcome to School of Authority, where we believe that authority is trust in motion, because it's trust that enables things to move and people to move from point A to point B. That's the whole reason that they follow. Today, we want to talk about this transition that I like to categorize as the manager to leader issue. And today's issue is the bottleneck that gets created, and or some would call the manager task. Let's jump into it. Here we go. What do you want to do first? What do you want to do second? I haven't been this excited since today's social media world with influencers. Oh, I already know how to do this, don't I? And the coach just nods. I want to start out by just saying, you didn't do this on purpose. You didn't create the bottleneck on purpose. But every situation that we are in comes down to a belief that we have about that situation. Really, it comes down to the importance that you're feeling about the task that you've been created. I mean, you want to see the outcome get created. You want to see the result. You want to see the solution. You want to see people's lives changed. Your intention is not the problem at hand, but your frustration is going up and up and up as you're just getting more and more overwhelmed with not getting the results that you intended to get, not getting the results that you dreamt of getting. The problem that we most commonly see in this situation of the bottleneck, the manager tax. And let me say this. This is why I call it the manager tax. It's the unintended consequences, the invisible costs that just marginalize the results that we're wanting to come up with. And so this problem that comes up really comes down to how we believe, what we believe about the pressure, because it's not that we don't want to achieve something. It's not that we lack the ability, or even that our team lacks the ability to achieve the result that we're trying to get to, but there's something that we're believing about that situation that unintentionally makes us switch from being the leader of the team to the hero of the team. And when we unintentionally switch from the leader of the team to being the hero of the team, it's just like switching from being the conductor of the orchestra to being a soloist. And if at the point when you're the soloist, things get really complicated and everything has to flow through you all of the sudden. That you're now in charge of the oboe, you're now in charge of the flute, you're now in charge of the tuba, you're now in charge of the strings. Instead of conducting the situation, you're trying to play all of those instruments yourself. It's unintended. It comes down to the pressure and what you feel about that situation, what you believe about that situation. So in today's episodes, I'm going to bring in one of my favorite guests. It's Dr. Val Hastings. He's a master coach. He's my master coach. And the value of the coach is he's coached so many leaders in so many of these situations. He's seen how they've processed through the situation and what's been able to unlock that bottleneck situation. So we're gonna walk through some clips from a previous interview that I had with Val and unlock this bottleneck that's unintended and become a multiplier of your team. Let's jump into it. This problem of I'm having to do everything. I feel rushed. I feel like I don't have enough time. I feel like the rabbit on Alice in Wonderland. I'm late for a very important date. Talk to me a little bit about that problem scenario, because you deal with that a lot with your coaches.
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I'm late. The problem with being the soloist is that there's not enough time to do everything, and you're really very limited because it's really only what you're able to do instead of what you can have your entire team do. So the problem is your time is not managed well, which then means your team members, their time is not managed well because they're waiting for you to dole out to them the next dose of here's what you need to do and here's how to do it. And so it really it's a bottleneck. You've got to have some experience under your belt to know that what we're talking about, the soloist style of leadership, isn't going to always work. Now, there's a place for a soloist, right? I mean, there's a time and a place to have
Yeah.
somebody stand up, be in the spotlight, but you need to have the experience to recognize that that's not going to work all the time. Like, we need to have other tools and approaches in our toolbox. If the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? I mean, the old adage.
Yeah.
So bring the other tools out. The other piece is a lot of this has to do with beliefs. Um, Often the leader has this belief that they're expected to not only have the answers, but to make sure it all happens and do it for people. And that's not I don't think most people are expecting that from the leader. They're expecting that if you've hired me or you've invited me to do something, that you're going to let me take and run with it. So it's the story that we're telling ourselves that we need to tap into. Where is that coming from? I mean, and if we can help the person to identify the story, you said the awareness, now we have the ability to change the story.
Everything that you do ultimately comes down to what you believe about that situation. What do you believe to be true? What's the narrative and the story that's circulating through your mind? Because what we believe dictates our actions. Any situation that we're in, there's a specific set of beliefs that we need and a specific set of actions that are necessary to get to the outcome that we're actually looking for. If we're not intentional with what we believe about a situation, we'll unintentionally slip into negative behaviors. Like, I love how Val said, if the only thing you have in your tool belt is a hammer, all of a sudden everything looks like a nail. How often as a leader have you felt like, oh, these employees that I'm hiring, they're just not very good at what they do. Oh, they're lazy. They're just not engaged. Well, what if it's a leadership issue? What if something has caused them to shrink? You never intended that. You didn't hire them to make them shrink. But ultimately, like Jocko Willink said, extreme ownership, ultimately everything is ultimately on our shoulders. It is up to us to find the ultimate solution, but it's not up to us to do everything. It is, if our belief is that all eyes are on us and it's all down to us, sometimes it can come out of us, this need to do everything and control everything. It can bring that control freak out of us, really in an unintended way, and really it creates some poor consequences. So let's think through that just a little bit more. Let's listen to another clip from Val, and let's begin to unfold this, because it's unintended consequences. This bottleneck, you didn't design to create it, but there are ways to get out of it. So let's begin unfolding that now. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the shifts that I see when they're moving from soloist to conductor is this idea of moving from working harder to working smarter. And that's a real key, because you can work really hard when you're the soloist and really not get the results that you want. And what we're looking to do is to get the results, get better results, and we have to be smarter in order for that to happen. So that's one of the shifts that happens. Doing the math, I mean, one person can really only do so much. Whereas if you can now multiply that, so it's moving from simple addition to multiplication.
Yeah, that is the shift right there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you move from addition to multiplication?
Mm-hmm. Well, the other piece is they've gotten really, really clear on what their job description is. Instead of doing everyone else's job, to get really clear on what are the things that only I can do in my role as leader, and make sure that those are the 3 or 4 things that I'm investing the majority of my energy in. Some of those things are going to be, I need to see the big picture. And as the orchestra conductor, you can't conduct and lead others unless you've got the big picture in mind. You've got to know where you're going, the vision. You need to know what the next steps are, what the next stanza is. You've got to be anticipating that. And if you're overly involved in doing it for other people, you don't have time to do that. So that'd be a huge piece right there.
There's no way as the conductor that I can have each. I know it all blends in together, but to focus on each little set of details that entire time, all of that in my mind, it's the picture of a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Am I looking forward, or am I just getting lost in the havoc of the
Yeah,
details? Because the details
yeah,
can be havoc as well.
yes. You can get lost in the weeds
Yeah,
of that. Yeah,
absolutely.
you've really got to have that big picture, seeing where we're going, all of those pieces. Absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
like the clarity aspect that you led with that. I think that is the key element to getting to that path. How do you encourage people to really clear? Is it challenging your belief about what your role is, or
Well,
what's the key there?
yeah, I mean, it can be challenging to believe, exploring what's the story that's being told here. Another is it can be doing some simple exercises with someone. And one that I like to do is just ask them to get out a piece of paper or open up, a Word document on their laptop and just create a couple columns. One is, what are the things that only I can do? No one else can or should do them. What are the things that I can do, but so can other people? What are the things that I absolutely should never do? My hand should never touch that. And what are the things that I could do, but really, you know what? I'm not the best at it. I really should let someone else do it. And it's amazing to just let people fill in those columns. Most of their work is not in the area of the things that only they can do. If they take stock, and that's the aha for them to realize, ooh, most of my time and energy is over here on the far right columns, and I need to shift left.
That is powerful. Just the exercise, a lot of times, of just writing something down and seeing it in front of you, whether you're typing or using these old things that people used to call pens,
Mhm.
that that transfers. You're able to see it clearly.
Yeah.
We talked even in another episode about difficult conversations. What is the outcome you're really looking for? So it
Mhm.
sounds like even that exercise, it's beneficial to even have your team do as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Because you want them doing the things that only they can do and that they're best at, right?
Yeah, there's a ripple effect beginning to
It
take
is.
place as
Mhm.
the orchestra begins to
Mhm.
expand broader and broader.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it is a ripple effect. It ripples right on down, dominoes. So, yeah.
That is powerful. That clarity of writing down, what can I do that nobody else can do? What do I not need to be touching at all?
Yeah.
Because you're right, we cross lines unintentionally
Yeah.
that we shouldn't. But when we look
Yeah.
at it clearly like that, we oh. How
Yeah.
many times in a coaching session, as you've laid it out like that, like you said, it's an aha moment where they go,
Mhm.
oh, oh, oh. It's like that three
Mhm.
gear oh,
Mhm.
and
It,
as it
it
just
is.
kind of sinks in.
It is. And almost every time we've done that exercise, the person has had an aha, or they've really, really struggled with what are the three or four things that only I can do and that I need to focus the majority of my attention on. They have no clue what that is. Well, how are you going to conduct and lead if you don't understand what your job description is?
Yeah.
Your
And,
focus.
and you're spending all your time on those other things. If you can
Mhm.
really clarify those things that just you need to focus on,
Yes,
then that's a permission statement.
it
Then
is.
you've now given yourself permission to I need to
Mhm.
do this.
Yeah. But if you can't identify that or it's not at your fingertips, you're not going to focus on it.
You now know what to protect now as well,
Yes. Yes.
which then is the motivator to I need help. I have to
Yeah.
protect this. Therefore,
Yes.
I need your help now.
Yep. You now also know how to measure. Am I making progress? because you
Oh,
can
tell
really
me.
track now. You can track, okay, so let me take a look at my week. Where did I spend the bulk of my time? Get out your calendar, look at it. Am I improving in this area? If I'm, spending consistently more and more time over in that left category where it's only things I can do, then I'm headed in the right direction.
Clarity can unlock the bottleneck. I love the analysis of that, where he just lays out intentionally looking at the tasks that you're taking on. Are you unintentionally taking on tasks that really you could hand off to somebody else? Somebody else may even do that task better than you, but there's still a trust issue. And in our next segment, we're going to begin talking about that trust issue, because you can't just throw things on somebody else. The weight may be too heavy. They may not be ready for it, because there is, like he said, there is time to be the soloist, but it doesn't operate long term. So stick with us. And after this break, we're going to jump into how do I transfer that trust to where I, as the leader, I'm also comfortable with it. They're comfortable. I'm comfortable. They're growing. And I'm all of a sudden creating space for me to see the big picture more clearly. Let's stick with us. We'll be right back. What do you want to do first? What do you want to do second? I haven't been this excited since today's social media world with influencers. Oh, I already know how to do this, don't I? And the coach just nods.
So you're wondering, how do you supervise in a way that works while also multiplying your time so that you're much more efficient? You're wanting to be able to let go of things, really trust the people that you're managing so that they can really do their very best and go on their way. This is all about the shift from the soloist to the conductor. I'd like to invite you to consider our Coaching Foundations program. It's 24 hours. It's 100% asynchronous, self-paced with recordings, and it'll give you a good taste of what coaching is. You can begin at any time. It's the perfect place to begin.